there, it's me, Chris Colley. I am an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in the city of Rochester Hills in the state of Michigan, and I am in my in-home studio, which is called the Rubber Room, and I am going to share with you tonight a free class. This was my holiday, well, actually my card club for this month. And so I'll kind of walk you through everything that happens in my creativity club, which is a monthly subscription club. And each month we feature a different stamp set, suite, or bundle. This month it was the Magical Meadows bundle with the coordinating designer series paper that went with it. In club, you make 8 cards, 2 each of 4 different designs. You can add on the stamp set and or bundle if you'd like. And in addition, you will get a spool of thread and a package, a spool of ribbon and a package of some sort of an accessory to go along with it. And you will also receive tutorials. So here's what your tutorials will look like. And it will include all of your measurements, pictures of your cards, and it will be emailed to you. And then once a month, we also go on a Zoom and put our cards together. So it's kind of a little craft along club, if you will. And I just love it. So it's $30 a month or $38 a month if you need your card kit mailed to you. And we, before we get started, I have a little sneak peek for you. If you are a demonstrator, you know that tomorrow is pre-order day. And we are pre-ordering from the mini catalog and the January to March, I believe it is, mini catalog, and also celebration, which is in January and February. So our January club is actually gonna focus on some of the new things that we will be able to get. So these are actually the cards that we're going to make in our club. Marielle designed them for us, and they all use a pack of paper from the celebration pack. And so we're going to go through these quickly as a little sneak peek, but they use the perennial postage stamp set also, and I think they're just beautiful. I love the really soft look of that paper. It's got some gorgeous colors in it. And then this one actually looks like a letter when you flip it over, and then you can open it up. So those are the 4 cards that we're going to be making in our January Creativity Club. If you're interested in more details or want to know a little bit more about it, just leave me a comment below and I will share with you. So when you're in club, you're going to get your cards will be packaged like this. I have pre-cut your paper for you, but it will come in your package as a half a pack of designer series paper, and you will cut your own paper. But for today's demonstration purposes, I have cut it for you. So you're going to have your card base and your piece of designer series paper, and then your piece like this will come already embossed. You'll have all of your die cuts also. Okay, so we are going to start off with this card and some blueberry bushel. This month you also got the glitter ribbon, which I think is glitter organdy ribbon, which is absolutely gorgeous, and some of the festive pearls. These 2 items are in the annual catalog, as I didn't want to give you items that you might not be able to replace. because of things retiring this month from that catalog. So all of the stamps we used are going to be in the Magical Meadows. And these are kind of winter cards. I'm just going to stamp my sentiment on my little circle here. This is a deckled rectangle circle. And it comes already cut in your kit for you. So I'm just going to stamp my sentiment on there, again in Blueberry Bushel. And when we craft along, this is kind of how it will also work. Just making sure that you're with me and we're going it together. I do score my cards, and so it's 8.5 by 5.5. The 8.5 inch side is scored at 4 1/4. And this designer series paper is already going to be cut for me, but during our club Zoom, we'll cut it together. This one is 5 3/8 by 4 1/8. And you'll have plenty of paper, and you can pick the designer series paper pattern that you like at best. I'm going to put this piece up on some dimensionals, and I am actually going to cut some of the pieces around the edge. Our dimensionals come, they're kind of like an octagon shape. And so I'm just going to cut these pieces around the edge. Some demonstrators can't do this until after they use the inside pieces. I can cut mine whenever. It doesn't really matter to me if I use all of the dimensionals and then the outside, or if I use the outside and then all of the insides. Okay, so I am going to just put some dimensionals on the back of here. Let's get this one out of the way so you can see what I'm doing. We're just going to put these on there. I hope you guys are getting all of your Christmas cards ready. I'm going to be leaving tomorrow. I'm actually going to an independent living center to do a kit day with them, and then I will be leaving for Florida for a week. I'm going to be celebrating Christmas with my brother and sister-in-law, who now live in Boynton Beach, so I'll get to see their new home. They just moved at Thanksgiving, so I'll get to help them unpack a little bit. And okay, so I put that on with some dimensionals. Does that look, looks a little crooked to me. Let's see if I can easily lift it up. Sometimes I have to stand up in order to actually see that I'm straight. Let's see if I put it straight on my grid paper. Wow. I may actually have to stand up to get this on there. Straight. Okay, I can live with that. All right, and now I'm going to cut a piece of organdy ribbon, and I'm going to cut it about this length, and then I am going to cut it in half, and I wanted it the length I could use to tie a bow with. And a lot of times during club, we'll fray ribbon, we'll cut it in half, we'll double it up. I like to share a lot of different ways for you to be able to maximize the product that you have in your club kit. So this is one big piece. We're just going to tie this one in a bow. If you watch me, you know I'm a bunny ear bow tying girl, and which means I have two loops. They go one over the other, and then one through the hole. I don't know if you guys were taught how to tie your shoes that way. If you're younger, you probably don't have tie shoes. That might have been a generational thing that is now gone. I know my granddaughters are not learning how to tie their shoes. They have slip-ons and Crocs and all of those good things. So, okay, so I'm going to set this aside for right now. And then this piece, I am going to cut into 3. And I don't care if they're all equal lengths. It's not going to matter at all for the purposes of this card. Okay? And then I'm just going to take 2 of these die cuts. These are die cuts that come in the bundle, and they're kind of what I call fern-ish. So they look kind of like a fern. When I was typing my tutorial, they were changing my spelling to F-U-R-N-I-S-H. They like to change things for like no apparent reason. So I am going to put a little bit of glue onto my little silicone mat. This fern is really, really thin, and so I want to use as little glue as I can spread out on the edges. So I also use a little, I don't know, it's a brush pick, and I'm going to use the tip of that and just place some glue in spots. And this green glue, this allows me to get it just kind of in the bigger spots where I want it. I'm going to let it get a little tacky while I do my other fern-ish sort of die cut. And your silicone mat is a really good tool to kind of have like a by your side kind of thing. I use mine a lot. Okay, so I'm just gonna place these on my card base, or on my blueberry bushel embossed piece of cardstock. And when you are in club, you get a walkthrough kind of step-by-step tutorial on how to put your cards together, so that if you can't make it to the Zoom with us, you still have that tutorial that you can work with. Okay, and then I'm just going to bring in my Stampin' Seal and go right over top of the middle of that. Now again, you could use your green glue in here if you wanted to, but I'm just going to use my Stampin' Seal, and I'm going to take these 3 pieces of ribbon that we cut, and I'm just going to layer them on top of each other like this. And you can, if you are a little obsessive compulsive, if you like things that have to be perfectly arranged, you can cut this and make sure that they're all the same length and have all of the little qualities that you want to them. But I'm just going to stick mine on like that, and I am going to flip all of my die cuts. Now these are leaves. They're kind of like pointy poinsettia leaves. And I'm just going to put a little bit of glue on the backs of them. And again, your kits will come with these already die cut for you. I have a wonderful helper, so when I can't get to doing this, she can come in and do them for me. I'm going to bring my little circle in, and I'm going to put some adhesive on the bottom of my circle and on the top of my circle. I'm going to add these die cuts right to my tape. And I probably should have not glued them until after I had added them. And if I was following along with my tutorial, that would have happened, but sometimes I get away from myself. So we'll put them on this way. So they're going to go at the top and the bottom. That one completely missed my adhesive. So let's do that again over here. There we go. Now I'll re-add my glue because I managed to get that all off and onto my fingers. So we'll put this piece right here so you can see our ribbon behind it. I'm going to get it on there so my words are straight. And then I am going to take a glue dot and this one. I'm going to put my bow on with my glue dot right down here. And then we're just going to accessorize it. These festive pearls come in this red or mauve color, silver, and then some gold. And I'm going to use, and there is some light blue color that comes in here, and I've used all of mine, but you can see it's kind of a really light, it looks almost like a white when you put it on there, but it's a real light blue color. So I'm going to use some silver on here. There you go. Isn't it gorgeous? These cards, this was one of my favorite sets to work with because it is just so beautiful. And the paper coordinates it. This one is actually going to be one of my Christmas cards, so I cut a lot of extras for it. And we're just going to use one piece. That's your thick whisper white, or thick basic white. We have a little die cut from the Nested Shapes. And then we have some of this paper, which actually came from the Snowflakes paper. And then a piece of the silver adhesive backed paper. And that paper is sold out, but it came in a silver and a gold. And so I used that to die cut. I don't know if you can see it or not, but you'll be able to see it in a minute. We die cut some images on there. So I'm going to stamp with basic gray. This is a nice one that you could use to actually emboss also. It would be really pretty embossed. I'm going to stamp. Let me grab my stamp cleaner for a minute here. I forgot I used a stamp twice. So I'm going to clean my blueberry bushel off there. And I'm going to stamp in basic gray. And like I said, you can heat emboss it with some silver if you'd like. That would be very pretty too, with all the sparkly going on. So if you're new to stamping, you want to do just a light tap, and I always look to make sure I don't have any ink around the edges of my rubber. Okay, I can go with that one. And then I'm going to, again, this thick basic white is 5.5 by 8.5. I scored the 8.5 inch side at 4.25. So I'm just going to use my bone folder to burnish that score line. And then I'm just going to use some regular adhesive to adhere my paper. I'm gonna try and get it straight the first time around, which I did not. Maybe I can only do straight first thing in the morning. I'm not sure. But let's try it again. Okay, I can live with that. And now I'm just gonna peel my die cuts off here, and all of these shapes, these dies came from the bundle, the Magical Meadows bundle. And I'm just gonna put them down because they already have the adhesive on the back. And you are going to want to keep this piece of the silver after you're done with your die cut, because you still have a lot of silver paper left that you can die cut something else with or punch something else with. You have lots of space in here where you could get hearts out of it. You could do circles with it, lots of extra space on there. So you do want to save it. And I'm just gonna kind of lay these on top of each other. So they kind of overlap a little bit. I think they are just beautiful on this card. And I'm gonna take my ribbon and tie a bow. Actually, I think I'm gonna put my ribbon, it's just a little bit stiff. So I just put it on the top of my scissors and held it with my thumb and pulled it through. And that just kind of breaks it down a little bit so that it's a little easier to work with. There we go. All right, and cut it off over here. I think that's okay. And again, I'm going to put this one on with a glue dot. I don't know what's happening to my glue dots here. There we go. And I'm just going to put it kind of at the bottom of those flowers there. And I'm going to bring my sentiment in. And I'm going to pop it up. I usually like to have at least one thing on my card on dimensionals because it adds a lot more depth to my card. Okay, so if you really like this kind of monochromatic look, I do, so I'm gonna stick with it. I'm gonna trim my, just a little tiny, there we go, little piece sticking off the edge. So I, again, am going to use the little silver festive pearls. Just because I think they're beautiful on this card. So that is card number 2. And I love it. So we're going to move on to card number 3, which I'm going to show you. I already stamped and trimmed my image, but I will show you how I did that. Let me just check and see. Hi, Cindy. Hi, Kathy. Hi, Jackie. I'm glad you guys are here with me tonight. Cindy, I will get to your message when I am done here. So this one is going to, you'll have all of your pieces cut. And again, we are going to start with a piece of extra thick basic white, 8.5 by 11, scored on the 8.5-inch side at 4 1/4. And then we have 3 pieces of basic white cardstock that is already embossed. This is the Distressed Tile Embossing Folder. I absolutely love it. And we are cut at 1 1/4 inches, 1.5 inches, and 1.5 inches. So I'm going to put some dimensionals on the back of here. And I'm going to use 3 of them, I think, because I don't want this to sink in the middle, and it's going to have a little bit of extra weight on it because that's where we're going to put all of our images and our sentiments. And this one was a class that had lots of die cut pieces that went with it. So you guys are lucky they all came die cut for you. And I'm just going to kind of lightly set these on here in case I need to move them a bit later on. And I'm going to leave just a little bit of room in between each piece as I put it on. And I'm going to get my tongue between my lips because that is the way that I can assure these are on straight, or ensure that these are on straight. Okay, going to go with that. And then this is a banner piece, and this one was die cut with the Stylish Shapes dies. And I'm going to use a sentiment that says, may this season of sparkle bring joy and delight. And I think that's kind of like perfect with the sparkly ribbon. So Blueberry Bushel is what we're using. If you haven't used our ink pads before, they open up like a compact. So you just put your thumb there, lift it, and slide it. And if that doesn't work for you, another little trick is to put your thumbs inside these little divots and just press down. And that will pop the end up and you can slide it from there. And again, just some light taps on there to be sure that you've got it all inked up and that you don't have any ink on the outside of your rubber. And I'm going to stamp a little bit towards my right because I'm going to put a gorgeous bow in that upper left corner. And while this is open, I am going to take a little finger dauber, and I am going to add a little bit of color around the edge just to help it pop a little bit, and so that it doesn't look so white. If you like that kind of white look to it, then by all means leave yours white. That is the beauty of creating, especially in a group when we're on our Zoom, because we all get to share what different stamp sets we've used, if we're doing something different with them, if we're leaving it white, if we're adding color. We get to inspire one another, which is always a beautiful thing, right? Okay, so I think that we're ready. Let me show you what I did for these 2 pieces. They have die cuts that coordinate with them. So I added color because I wanted 2 different colors. I added my color with daubers. Cindy, who's here watching and is part of our club, she colored hers with her markers. So I'm going to kind of do a hybrid and show you both techniques. So again, I'm just going to add some color to my dauber, and I'm going to just put it on my berries. Just on my berries, not on the leaves, but if some gets on the leaves, that's perfectly okay too. It's not an exact science when you're using the dauber. So if you're a person who needs to be exact about it, you probably will prefer using your markers. We did get a remodel of our markers, so they have a longer barrel here and a nice tip to them. And those are new in our catalog for this year. When I'm coloring, I'm holding my marker flat so that I still am going to have that nice point to my brush tip. And I am just coloring my stem and my leaves and being careful not to get my berries. And again, if you do get your berries, it's going to be a nice color blend and people really are not going to notice it. So I wouldn't get all caught up in whether or not you get a little bit of this shaded spruce color on your berries. Or if you get the blueberry bushel on where it's shaded spruce. And so these are two, you can actually marker everything here. You can actually use your blends on everything here, or I'm sorry, use your dauber on everything here, or you can do a combination like I just did. It does take a minute to get it all colored. So what I'm going to do is just blow on it, kind of huff on it. And the heat from my breath will re-moisten the ink. So you also, in Club, you got an extra piece of cardstock so that you could stamp your berries on it. Isn't that beautiful? I just love it. So that's a great technique that you can use to add some color. So we now have these two pieces that are cut out, and we have 5 leaves. And these are die cut leaves again. So I'm going to bring my card base back in here. And I am going to add some adhesive, just kind of in the middle where I have big spaces with the berries. Okay, and again, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to lay them so that they're kind of overlapping in the middle. And I'm going to bring my little silicone mat back in here and flip all of my leaves over onto the back. And I am going to add, wow, I'm just some adhesive to these. And you can use your glue if you want to. You can use, my glue is kind of dried up now. So I'm going to add a little bit more glue here. And I think I actually am good just doing the glue down the middle. I am. Okay. Let's do that. There we go. And now I'm going to slide these pieces under where I put my berries and stems. Okay, so I'm just going to kind of slide them right under there. And I'm going to do some down here. And I couldn't decide if I like the pointy end out or not, so I kind of am overlapping them. There we go. Get that out of the way. Okay, so now I have the fern kind of berry branches, and then I have my leaves in there. And I am going to put my dimensionals on my sentiment. That will actually give me 2 cards, 2 spots on this one that are lifted. So I'm going to take my piece from around the edge again. put that on there. Here we go. So it's going to go on like this. And then I'm going to tie another bow. So we'll soften that up a little bit. And once a month, you guys, I do a free class on my Facebook page. So I will be doing another free class in January. I think I'll be focusing then on celebration products. There's some really great stuff in our celebration catalog. If you need catalogs, please let me know. Happy to send them to you. If you are a customer, they're free. And if you haven't ordered from me in the last 3 months, I will charge you $5 for mailing, and I will include a $5 off your first order coupon. Okay, so here is my little bow, and I'm going to put that right there. And I'm going to add some of these little silver sparkles. And I think right there. Okay, so that is card number 3. And for card number 4, I did color my stamp again using, I used Moody Mauve and Shaded Spruce. And again, you can dauber that, or you can color it with your markers. You don't want to color with your blends. You want to be sure that you're coloring with your markers. Your blends will kind of ruin your stamp. So I have die cut those and colored them. And then we have some more sticky ferns for this one. And again, we're using the deckled circle dies. And I think I got a little something on there. Oh, brushing right off. So I'm going to use some Moody Mauve. Oh my gosh. How did I just do that? Wow. I got nice. Wow. That is not good at all, is it? Okay, let me just see if I do not have an extra one in there. So I will stamp on this one and we'll pretend that that's not there. And then I'll swap it out. So I'm going to use the colder the colder weather brings us together. So I'll put that on here. I'm not sure at all how I got ink all over that, but leave it to Beaver, right? I can do anything when I put my mind to it. Okay, so I'm going to set that aside for now. I am going to take our basic white cardstock, and this one is again the heavy one, and so it is trying to 5.5 by 8.5. The 8.5 inch side is scored at 4 1/4. I'm going to burnish that score line, and then I'm going to take some Designer Series paper, and I've already cut this, but if you are in club getting a kit, yours will not be cut. And you can use this side of it too if you like. That's one of the things about not cutting your Designer Series paper for you, is that you can then choose which designs or prints you like. Okay, so we have that, and then I am going to take this, and I'm just going to peel. This is your die cut adhesive back to paper. And this one is going to go on here. I think if I put it down, I can cover up that big smoosh in there. So that's what I'm going to do with this. Just going to use a little bit of the glue on those edges there. That way I can kind of save this one. My ribbon, my bow will go down there too. So I'm going to put it on there. And then I'm going to add my little silver piece to it. And I think because I'm going to do that at the bottom, I had an extra piece cut. So I'm going to use that too. And again, you guys, you definitely want to save these pieces of silver because you can get a lot of little pieces out of that. So I'm going to put that over here so you kind of have lots of sparkle with it. And then I did just a little of the bigger berry in that stamp set. And I'm going to put it right there. I'm going to add some dimensionals to the back of this. I think we've saved this one, you guys. I think I'm actually going to take my bottom strip here and cut it in half. And I'm also going to take a dimensional and put it under here. And that'll kind of hold this up. And we do have mini dimensionals that you can put behind these pieces too, if you want to. But I think that's going to be enough to hold it. Yeah, I think we have managed to save this one. I hope you guys are thinking about joining club. I'm going to share those sneak peek cards with you again in just a minute. We have a great time, and it's a great group of ladies, of course, but it's nice to be able to get together virtually and craft with one another when we can't all be together, and especially if you're in Michigan in the winter time. We deal with a lot of snow here, so sometimes we plan to be together and end up doing it virtually just because of the weather and not being able to get out. Here we go. We're going to trim this one up. And I'm going to add a little dimensional here. Pre-order starts in the morning, so I have my list all ready to go. I am super excited. I actually have my retreat day picked and all of my products picked for it. And I'm going to be doing it twice. So I'll be doing it in person and I will be doing it virtually. In person is going to be January 20th and virtually is going to be the 27th. So they'll be a week apart. But if you can't come one day, hopefully in person, you will be able to do it virtually with us. This one I'm actually going to use some of these mauve little festive pearls. And these are really easy. I don't know why I'm like fumbling with them. They're very easy to pick up with your scissors. Put one down here. And I'm just going to kind of like close my scissor tips around them and move them that way. Okay, so this is our first one. And then we have this one. And then this gorgeous silver one. I just love the look and feel of that one. And then this one, where we've cut our ribbon in half. So that was our Magical Meadow Club. And then in January, we're going to be using the celebration paper. I think it's called Light and Airy. So we're going to be using that with the perennial postage stamp set and bundle. So you'll get some of this thick twine in your kit, and you're going to get these gorgeous gems. They come in yellow and blue and the brown. So we're going to take that ribbon and make a little nest with it. And then we've torn it apart and used the silver and the twine. Marielle is just really great at designing. And again, this one is one that kind of looks like an envelope that you've mailed. This is a die that embosses. So it cuts that shape and then embosses. And then it looks like an envelope. So we're going to have a good time in January. And I do hope that you guys will think about joining club. And thanks for tuning in tonight. Let me just pop through here real quick and see if anybody has any questions for me. Again, thank you guys for tuning in. I know, Jackie, it's going to be an expensive pre-order for me too, girl. All right, thanks you guys for tuning in, and have a wonderful week. As I said, I will be off in Florida celebrating with my brother and sister-in-law. You guys enjoy. Bye-bye.